Senator Barack Obama praised Bill and Hillary Clinton at today's campaign event in Unity, New Hampshire. Take a listen.
We need them. We need them badly. Not just my campaign, but the American people need their service and their vision and their wisdom in the months and years to come, because that's how we're going to bring about unity in the Democratic Party, and that's how we're going to bring about unity in America, and that's how we're going to deliver the American dream in every corner of every state of this great nation that we love.
And joining us now, nationally syndicated radio talk show host Dennis Prager, and also he's an author, also columnist with the Wall Street Journal, John Fund, and Fox News political analyst Kirsten Powers. Dennis Prager, we've come a long way from "shame on you, Barack Obama," and then her husband saying, "Yeah, they played the race card on me, and we now know they planned it from the beginning."
Who's that?
We've come a long way, right, Dennis?
We have come a long way, and we'll see if this works out with the Democratic Party. What he just said, though, was so fascinating, that this will bring unity to the Democratic Party, which is very possible, and unity to America. If I do recall, and I don't say this cynically at all, she was one of the more polarizing people in the American political process. I don't quite see how she would be a unifier of the American people. Certainly, if she comes aboard in his campaign, there is more unity in the Democratic Party, but certainly not in the country. But apparently that line works with a number of people. He will unite the American people, the most left-wing member of the United States Senate. That's something to be seen.
Kirsten, we're going to get into this. You're going to join me Sunday night on Hannity's America, and we'll get into this in more detail here. But I feel with the Obamas, if you read the New York Times, she's hired a speechwriter. She's got a new chief of staff. They're creating the softer image. Washington Post says the same thing about Barack Obama, that he's trying to, quote, change the perceptions people have about him. We watch this. Why do I feel that everything about the Obamas right now is controlled by a bunch of political handlers, and it's phony? There's no sincerity here.
There's nothing phony about the fact that he feels he has to communicate with people about the fact that he's not a Muslim. I mean, that's what they're talking about.
Name one Republican who said that.
They don't. But it doesn't matter who said it, Sean. The fact of the matter is, when you ask people, like 10% of Americans say that they think he's a Muslim. So he has to do a better job of communicating about that, about the patriotism, which you certainly have accused him of not being patriotic.
I have never. Never.
I'm sure that I have heard you say that.
No, you have not.
Okay, I'm going to go through the transcripts.
I question his judgment. No, I never have. In all honesty, I never have. I question his judgment. I don't think he's honest. I think, for example, let me give you one quick example. I don't think he was honest when he said after 20 years he didn't know about right. I think that's dishonest.
Well, okay, here's the reason I think that you at least insinuate he's not patriotic, is that it doesn't really matter unless you think that. So the fact that he was in that church, what does it matter unless you think that he shares the views of Reverend Wright? Let
me bring in John Fund here. John, I guess what's evolving for me is what we were discussing with Dick Morris. I don't think he's got a political core. I loved Reagan and I love President Bush in the sense that they are men that don't look at polls, that they don't need handlers, they don't need makeovers, they don't need the new image making team, because they have core values. I don't see that in Senator Obama, hence, quote, the flip-flops. Do you agree with me?
I think he has core values. He's the most liberal member of the United States.
No, he's not actually, John.
Let me finish.
He's not. You're wrong.
Is he hiding it?
You're wrong.
Well, I can give you the ratings of the American Conservative Union. I can give you the ratings of the National Taxpayers Union. How many other groups do you want?
Well, first of all, National Journal that did this, they cherry-picked 99 votes. If you go to Progressive Punch, he's actually at 25th. Frank Lautenberg is first. In terms of overall lifetime, you are cherry-picking votes.
The National Taxpayers Union
the most liberal member of Congress.
The National Taxpayers Union looks at every single spending vote in Congress. Now, let me finish what I was going to say.
That's spending votes. There are lots of other votes. Go ahead.
National Taxpayers Union looks at every spending vote. Now, what Barack Obama really is I think a hardcore liberal who has decided to fuzz and vague his record up until November, and we will not find out what kind of president he's going to be until January 20th.
John, do you have a little problem with the fact that John McCain has changed almost every major view on almost every major issue and moved to the right? You're probably okay with that because he's moved to the right.
No, I think
John McCain has flip-flopped on almost everything.
Well, it's nice to know that you think you know what I'm about to say, but John McCain also has consistency problems. Those are separate from Barack Obama's problems. We're discussing Barack Obama.
I'm discussing John McCain.
I think this event tonight in New Hampshire was good for both of them. But it shouldn't have been called Unity New Hampshire. It should have been called Staged New Hampshire. This was the most choreographed event since Michael Corleone met with the people from a rival gang.
That's a great line. But, you know, Dennis Prager, I hear the conservatives go after Barack Obama for having staged events. George W. Bush had staged events in both campaigns. Ronald Reagan had photo ops ops every day. We couldn't ask any questions. You think that Barack Obama was the first candidate ever to have people staging events around him for the sake of image creating, as if no other candidate, including Republican candidates, ever did that.
Alan, you're right. Other candidates have had staged events. The difference is that we knew what Ronald Reagan stood for and what George W. Bush stood for, whereas Barack Obama, in our opinion, is hiding what he really stands for. If you give me any issue, I will show you how he stands for both. Capital punishment, he's for it, but there are real problems. On the right to have guns, oh, he's for it, but communities should have a right to legislate all they like. Nuclear power, he's for it, but we have to solve the problem of nuclear waste.
John McCain, immigration flip-flop, torture flip-flop, Bush tax cuts flip-flop. I'll go down the list on almost everything. And John McCain has moved to the right, which must make you happy. He's okay because he winds up where you are. But we will continue with our panel in just a moment. More after the break. And then a shocking news.